Okay, this is the Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing for Creative Properties LLC rezone. Meeting called to order at,
6:30.
I shall establish roll call. Floyd Jenkins.
Here.
Mo Wilson.
Here.
Chairman Rick Stornbos is absent and excused tonight, but a quorum has been established.
Alrighty, looks like we're calling a meeting for the public hearing on the rezoning for REZ-01-23. Yes, if you want to run with it.
Okay. What do we got going on?
Okay, so in the big pictures, we have an existing apartment building, which our understanding is probably built in the 90s, some point in time. And then the town zoning went through the whole area along this part of Highway 89. And at that point, it was zoned commercial, but we have a residential use on there. So what we're trying to do is clean up that use in zoning, and then help the lot become more tailored to handle the existing use and future commercial residential development. We submitted a few site studies. That's really separate from the zoning application. Those would be separate permits. I think we'll, after the public hearing, ask some questions for the commission on that. But the zoning is really to clean up the discrepancy between the use and the commercial zoning.
So do you want to change it to MRC? Or just commercial, or both?
It's commercial existing.
Right.
And the proposed zoning is MRC.
Okay.
In this application.
Okay.
So we had a survey done, just so you guys are all aware. The building is not within the setbacks of MRC or commercial. It's basically 7 feet off the property line. Mm-hmm. And so we're leaning towards demoing down. We're gonna demo the laundromat over and clean up that, and we're gonna redraw some plans to submit for the main apartment building, getting it cleaned up, basically. And then, which is gonna require some re-roofing, some different snow loading, changing there's a lot of ice problems. And,
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's one project. We're also gonna build another apartment building next to it within the setbacks of MRC. So it'll be two buildings. I think that's what we're leaning towards right now is the new building would be in the current MRC setbacks. We have an option to extend it within the current setbacks up to 20% more.
Yes, I
but
remember that meeting.
I'm not, at this point in time, I'm not leaning towards that because I really don't like that 7 feet anyways.
Yeah.
So basically be building a bigger problem. And so we're leaning towards building another building within the MRC setbacks. And then the only thing that big question is that right now your commercial setback from the highway is 25 feet. There's been talk of down the road, the mayor might change commercial setback on the highway to lot line. There was some discussion of that. And if that's something in the heart of the town, the heart of the committee, we would maybe want to plan that way. We think it does do a lot more. It brings a better project to our property for the town. Having that bring in the basically the lot line, we would put like a sidewalk or something along the building on the front, but then do parking. You'd come in and park behind, so you'd see from the road. You would see just the building, and then you'd have the parking kind of hidden.
Okay.
So we do like that as far as design goes, but at this point in time, that's not your code. So we're probably going to build it designed to the 25 feet unless for some reason we knew that was going to be changed. And then if it's changed just in commercial, we're going to ask. Another thing, the other question we thought about, should we submit to you guys a variant? Would you guys want us to submit a variance? Would you guys like to see it on the property line? And we could submit a variance request for that, since we don't have the code done yet. I don't know, that was some discussion we had.
And it'll probably definitely be something we have to take up with Rex as well,
Right.
but we can cross that bridge when we get there.
Right, so if, we're talking about commercial and MRC, the wild card is, if setbacks were to change in the future, how would this project be handled? We'd be committing to one thing today, and then we'd come back to get that commercial setback, but now we've rezoned to MRC, so that one of these iterations, SP 103,
Yes, sir.
and it's detail 1, so that'd be a page right. So that you see how the building's out front, and then I've got a line down the middle. So I guess the big question is, how can if the setbacks were to change for commercial, how can we protect ourselves to retain a portion of commercial for this project? If possible.
So, and we can split the lot later and then ask to rezone the front back to commercial at that point. Or ask for a variance of that, to say, hey, in the heart of what you guys want to see, we're in that, we just ask for a variance request because it's in what you guys want to see, as a town. It's just not, you don't want to see it everywhere.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just some
So
discussion, but.
if they, I seem to recall, I'll get out my notes from the meeting, you guys talked about this a while ago.
Right.
Wasn't there something with the old structure that if they kept it, like you said, 20%, would they have to?
So that would be the apartment building.
He can add on it no more than 20%
Right.
of the existing
So if he
structure.
keeps that existing structure, because it's zoned for commercial,
So we would talk, so on the commercial side, we're talking about not having any existing commercial. Like, we would get rid of what's there
right?
and build a whole new commercial.
Right, I was just spitballing, I didn't know if maybe they kept part of that building so that they were able to earmark that for commercial if they want to change it to MRC? Or would it be just as easy, I'm still new, still figuring this out, or would it be just as easy to just ask to rezone it if that's how their future project wants to be?
What is your timeline?
Well, for the.
In the perfect world.
So the apartments and there's some deck work and some re-roofing, that'd probably be this spring, summer submitting.
So commercial-
Let me rephrase that. What is your timeline for this
So
front
commercial is at
structure?
least, we're in 2023 right now. It's at least 2024 for the commercial.
Okay.
But we want to, we want to start planning for that. So our first plan is to get the residential stuff fixed and dialed. And then we want to start planning commercial fairly soon, making something attractive, so we'd like to get to if we're going to go a direction, even if it's a year away, we'd like to design that direction, if that makes sense. We don't have to submit that direction yet, but if it was in the heart of the planning and zoning, that's the direction that your town would like to see, we would probably design that direction and submit in a year from now, if that made sense.
So the
And we're not asking for a decision tonight.
commission has submitted some recommendations for changes to the land use development code per the town council. I haven't gotten a total direction on changing of those setbacks. That might be a discussion that we need to have since we are kind of working towards changing those regulations to incorporate that. I can't, obviously, we can't make any promises.
No.
So that's the conversation
And-
for town council to consider. I am resending my packet that I sent them, last month. They'll be discussing, some changes to the land use development code at their next stated workshop.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
that's about the information that I can tell you. I can keep you posted
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
on anything.
if you guys, if there was any, like we kind of knew a direction at some point, not today, but in the next few
6
months,
months.
next 6 months, you guys
4 months.
you guys are leaning a direction, it'd be nice to know. Maybe a phone call saying, hey, we are leaning towards that, making that, that'd be great.
Making that-
More of a standoff, or a
We'd-
setback from the front for commercial
Yeah.
property.
From an architect's perspective, Brian James, Brett Bennett, they think it's cool to design that way. I mean, that's
Well, it puts the cars in the back and the snow as well, so the snow doesn't hide the building in this area. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, but, you know, from a planning perspective, I would agree with that 100%. And I guess my biggest concern is we rezone the whole lot MRC, then there's no going back to commercial, because would that be considered an upzone?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to, unless,
I think you would just have to submit another application,
Yeah,
pay the fees, roll the
I-
dice.
You have
I
a
mean,
plan.
I can't,
I mean, it feels like that would be whatever we're doing to the best interest of the town. I feel like we're gonna hopefully have some warm welcoming that way. So,
even if they do change the setbacks for highway properties, I would, and I'm just assuming here, I'm assuming that it would be, what's the word I wanna use? Consistent all along that highway corridor.
whether it's
Whether
MRC
it's
or commercial.
MRC or it's commercial, because it's on that highway
Yeah,
corridor.
exactly.
The beauty of it, MRC, is if you did want to do a type of live-work unit, which I realize a lot of people are going
We would like to
that
do that,
route. But if you keep it commercial, you automatically eliminate that live-work unit.
Right.
So you'd be held strictly commercial.
Yeah, the only reason that we would want to be in commercial is that setback. So, I mean, I think it makes more sense for us to come to you later and either ask for a variance or a discussion on that. So,
And maybe because the discussion has been opened about that highway corridor, maybe that discussion needs to be had with the town council. Is this specific to the highway corridor, US highway corridor, and/or the Grays River corridor? I mean, we're incorporating a lot of different areas, so we gotta kind of think about
Right.
what they're proposing.
When is that next workshop? Is it scheduled?
It's the
First of the month?
second, it's the first Monday in March. Whatever lucky date that might be.
And then that
Oh.
takes, what,
First Monday in March.
So,
A few
whatever they do, it's gonna take 3 months, at a minimum,
yeah,
okay?
and we're not in a big hurry or nothing, so, but,
But to permit a new apartment building, residential use, whatever type of building it is, you have to be MRC. We can't do that on commercial.
Correct.
That was the first threshold. And then the second one is just,
and I don't know about lot division and having
And you
commercial
could
and
come
MRC.
back, and you could take this lot, and you could divide it, do a simple subdivision into 2 parcels, determine the front is
Yeah.
commercial,
Okay.
yeah,
and then
Downgrade
determine
the
the back. You know, obviously, the back is already MRC if we approve this.
right.
So that still would bring that into compliance. But again, if you're doing the commercial, is it better to have a 0-to-0 setback on this lot line here?
I don't think we need that.
We need to get a definition from the town council.
Right.
If they are gonna change that front setback. I can't see the front setback changing because it's already established. If you're commercial to commercial, you can have a 0 setback on the side, and a commercial on the back,
Yep.
0, but not in the front. I still think that you've gotta have some type of setback. I can't, we're only an advisory board, so I
Yeah.
can't.
Right.
yeah.
Part of it.
Well, we're currently gonna do, I mean, I think we're gonna go MRC the whole thing for now, and we're gonna plan our life that way. If something changes, just let us know, is what I'm thinking, so.
Is there a way,
Warning, yeah.
or would there be any level of comfort in the Planning and Zoning Commission putting some text in the approval, call it a condition, just saying, planning and zoning would consider, retaining a portion of this property as commercial, however, you have to go through the process again, just something like that, just so we have some sort of
Something that.
conversation on the record, because it seems reasonable. The whole thing's commercial now. We're trying to pick up the back for MRC,
Yeah,
but I don't know how you interpret that. Yeah.
I don't know how that would work either. I think that's a really reasonable request, especially because if you want to plan for future growth and at some point in time you do have to change it back to commercial because you found that that's a better investment, then that would totally make sense to me.
Well, I don't think the actual commercial zoning for the buildings is necessary. That's gonna just be like for a hotel or blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. I mean, I think that mainly we would want the commercial zoning for the setback.
Setback.
And that's pretty much would be the only reason I see at this point
Okay.
that would be necessary, but.
And I think that would kind of get back to addressing the highway corridor.
The highway corridor.
The highway corridors, yeah, specific to that, rather than, because if you're gonna change setbacks, commercial, MRC, it's all across the board. So there would have to be some type of disclosure for a highway corridor.
Yeah,
And that would make sense, because you have commercial lots off the highway corridor that may or may not be right for zero setback.
the language might say highway corridor setback instead of like,
Instead of a commercial.
instead of commercial
Instead of
MRC setback,
commercial MRC.
maybe the language for your future planning would be highway corridor setback.
Because it is up against the highway corridor, we'll never get away from some kind of mountain of snow.
That's true.
So I know the future, some future commercial coming into your, asking for annexing in the future is gonna want to be the same kind of highway corridor feel. And that's over by the, the port of entry, there's some corridor, some stuff gonna be coming to you guys requesting annexation, and they're gonna want that highway corridor feel, in their planning.
Okay.
So I know that's gonna be, something that is gonna coming this way.
The one thing that we gotta keep in mind is we do have that, the highway, we have the highway enhancement.
Yes,
The highway enhancement technically is part of the highway,
yes.
so the sidewalks.
Well, so we would have
So we have to
landscaping to,
determine where your front property lines are, or your front corners.
Yep.
And then take it from that juncture. And
maybe
so-
there needs to be a sidewalk area, so maybe it's,
So most likely, after that sidewalk, you are probably within, I don't know, I'm gonna say a couple of feet of where no, actually.
I think the highway
if you
easement would go right
if
to
you
the lot
go-
line, wouldn't it?
If you look
Yeah.
at your adjacent property and where all the grass is, and then where the asphalt starts, those would be their property.
Yep.
Approximately.
Yep.
So that would be where you would kind of think logistically going down
Yeah.
that highway, where you would be. You'd still have, I don't know how many feet that is, but you.
well, no, I get that, but from the sidewalk, the current sidewalks, we'd have
You-
20 feet or
You're
something.
gonna have, yeah, you're gonna have
At least,
probably
yeah.
at least a good 10 feet that is
More like
still
20.
highway,
Right.
and then, so,
So it'll be green space and then the building, yep,
yeah.
so. And just instead of having the parking in the front, you're putting the parking behind, that's the only difference.
The and I'll just throw this out for everybody's, thoughts. When the highway comes by, or the plows come by, they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna plow their
They're gonna wing
snow
it.
wherever it goes.
Right.
And so, that's just,
Yeah.
Totally, I get it.
Yeah.
it's where we live.
There's a lot of room right now. It's just if they were ever to widen the road, then we would be much tighter, like,
But like
Afton
Thane or Afton, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not the end of the world though, so.
But again, there's talk that, after the next census, if we reach a certain amount of population, that the town of Alpine is going to be responsible for,
The highways,
the highways, plowing of the highways, if we reach that magical number.
yeah.
okay. Well, it sounds like that workshop is an important date to provide any comments on this highway corridor thing, right? March
And that was the
Yes.
6th.
or first Monday in March is the 6th.
I just looked it up, it was the
Thanks.
6th, yes, sir.
I have something in mind.
Excuse me.
So it's a
That might be good
Monday
information for you.
Yes, sir, the first Monday of the March.
at 6 o'clock or 7?
Oh,
7.
At 7? And you're calling it a planning meeting?
No,
No.
I'm not.
she's
A
calling it a
workshop,
I'm
workshop.
calling it a
Yeah.
town council workshop.
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody want to address his comment about consideration for retaining?
Yeah, I don't know how that works. It's my first night.
I
From
just-
your
I'm not-
sides, I can totally understand why you'd want to put that
All
in
you're
there.
gonna do is write a recommendation to the
To town
town?
council.
So, what you could, for your recommendation, you could say, maybe some sort of discussion of this, you know, of,
For future reference.
for future reference.
I just
Then
don't
put it in,
know.
put the ball in their court.
But
That's
it
what I
can always
think.
go through the variance process too, at the end of the day.
Certainly, yeah, I just, it's more just hang on to what is there and considering a portion if needed, but that may be too complex given what we're
Right,
Yeah,
trying to do here.
I think that's so too.
and it might
You'd be
prove,
the all-knowing,
and it might prove problematic depending on the neighbors that you have move in too, on whether or not they'd want you to rezone, be happy with you rezoning it back to commercial at some point in time.
Although it's commercial on both sides of.
Right, but if we're changing, if from what I
So
understand,
it
we're
would
changing
go
it.
through the same process, you went through the process, we
Right.
had to let everybody within 500 feet in the total circle all the way
Yeah.
around, know what you're doing. There wasn't a bunch where there was only a handful of calls to ask what was going on, what was this application about, what do they propose? And so I reiterated to them, I invited them to the public hearing, that this is what we're doing, you know, this is what they wanna do. They wanna make their property compliant, you know, I mean, it's a non-conforming structure right now. I mean,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, it'll still be
and we
non-conforming
understand-
structure, but-
And we understand that back in the 70s, that, you know,
Yeah.
the rules were different. You know, setbacks were different, definitely. So, I mean, I know Lincoln County setbacks are different than the town of Alpine setbacks. So, in the county, you only have to have 10 feet. So, you know, we recognize that when I was talking to, it was only 2 individuals that actually called me. So I just reiterated that, and they're like, hey, that'd be great. That'd be great if that property got a facelift,
Yep.
was the response that I
Good.
got. So,
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah. That makes sense.
It's hard to make it work.
but I think that for your,
Easy to
I
start
don't
from.
know, as an
Wrap up.
advisory board here, they can certainly maybe incorporate that mention of the discussion of the setbacks, of a change in setbacks,
Yeah,
but they're,
that's,
you know, they would like recommend approval for the rezone with the notation that there has been discussion. And then when this gets presented next week at town council,
we could tell them that.
I
too.
would suggest that a representative, be in the audience to address this.
Yep, sounds good.
Certainly, I agree with that. I just think there should be something about this discussion, knowing that things may or may not change. We're approaching that. If it happens, then we're very close. If not, then it's just MRC, go with it.
Yep,
And it is a recommendation, so they could,
Yeah.
again, approve it, deny it, or make conditions on it. And then when it goes to, town council, if something happens, you could still have that opportunity to withdraw that application.
yeah, with three
And
months.
keep
right?
it, commercial, but then that means the whole property stays commercial,
Correct.
So then we're non-compliant, so,
yeah.
no more apartments.
Now I see what you, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. So there will be opportunity for further discussion during the council meetings. we pick up the MRC tonight. However, that'll be something, if I'm there, I'll just ask them how we should handle this for properties like this. It becomes more and more unique the more we talk about it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think we addressed anything in our side of things we were gonna present for changes in the book as well.
No, we
about-
didn't, we
has
didn't
anything to
talk,
do with,
we didn't
what you
talk
guys
about
proposed.
setbacks, our proposal for setbacks. I will tell you that we did propose that we would like to increase, for residential, that we'd like to increase the, parking requirement. It's currently 400 square feet. We proposed a 600
For
square
commercial,
feet
for commercial.
for residential,
Residential.
for
Residential's
residential.
per bedroom.
No.
It's,
It-
isn't,
there's a parking requirement, 400 square feet per single-family residential home. It can either be a driveway or a garage,
single family.
single family, and we propose that that gets moved on up to 600.
But multifamily is different.
Multifamily, you have to have a requirement of 8.5 by 18, so it's 154 square feet for your parking. That multifamily is based on
Bedrooms.
bedrooms. Then, when you jump into the commercial is based on 400 square feet per whatever you're doing.
Right.
Commercial retail space
Yeah.
or office space
Or
or
resident- or residential or
whatever that chart pans out to be.
So there are some revisions, and they currently include parking calc revisions, but
they-
nothing to do with setback business.
Nothing to do with setback, and then the only other thing is there is a proposal, and we're waiting for the town engineer to kind of weigh in on that, to increase snow storage.
Right.
Because we all know 2.5% of 153 square feet is not
Yeah, it needs to make
adequate
sense, yeah.
for what we see in this
Especially this year.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we put it on to the town council to ask them, to ask the engineers if they had any kind of good calculations that they could come up.
Yeah, okay.
And I haven't heard back.
Sounds good.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
No, you're fine. Do you need to read any of this into the?
Do you want me to?
Do you want to do public comment
What time are-
next?
Oh,
I think it's public
done.
comment.
okay, I'll read real quick, okay? You submitted your application and the related forms have been submitted and processed by the town of Alpine. All forms, prepared forms have been deemed acceptable. Description of the request has been reviewed and the information was deemed acceptable. All property owners within 500-foot radius have been notified of the public hearing date as scheduled for Tuesday, February 14th at 6:30. An opportunity has been given to respond to the mailing with a response deadline of up until the meeting for letters and/or public comments to be presented and/or read into the public record. I've only had a couple of phone calls. Nobody has asked me to read anything into the record for your information. A total of 33 notifications were mailed. Of those, 7 property owners had more than one lot in the notification zone. The town has received no mailing, return mailings within the notification area. Of all mail distributed to date, there has just been a handful, 2, as of the interest of the rezone. Any additional inquiries and/or comments will be incorporated into this report before final distribution. This is now currently the final distribution, and I haven't had any additional.
Okay.
Planning and Zoning Commission will be held, meeting will be held to review and receive any and all additional comments from area property owners. Review proposed rezone application. Subsequently, a preliminary determination will be made on February 14th meeting, and that determination will be forwarded to the town council for final determination for their February 21st meeting. In my comments, it basically talks about what you're proposing, what you're allowed to do in that zoning district. So I have that described in my report, okay? The zoning administrator has reviewed the property in the immediate area and has found the properties along the highway to the north are zoned commercial with bordering adjacent parcels zoned mixed residential commercial. The same can be said about the parcels on the south side of the highway, which are also commercial and bordering properties that are mixed residential commercial, thereby making a rezone of these properties consistent with the current area properties and their intended uses. Additional items that were to be submitted have been completed. So I'm gonna skip to the next page. You basically, a development schedule and a proposed, land use plan has been submitted. And it was stated summer 2023 through maybe summer 2024. We don't hold anybody to that, that we're just looking for kind of an idea of a concept, so. And then you submitted with your email, and I guess I'll just read this, the impact to the surrounding area. Addressing the non-conforming zoning brings the existing use into compliance. This will not impact the surrounding areas beyond existing conditions, which includes 6 apartment units, laundry, storage facilities, and a small commercial building. Future building permits would fall within the allowable use of MRC zoning or MRC and commercial zoning if a lot split ends up being the right answer to address the non-conforming use. Future construction will provide additional housing and commercial resources within the town of Alpine. Primary impacts to the surrounding area will be increased density, traffic, and lighting, which will be reviewed with the town of Alpine Planning and Zoning Commission. No variances are proposed for this project. So, in summary, the zoning administrator recommendation, by approving the rezone, this would bring the apartment complex into zoning compliance. New structures would be constructed on the property so long as they are not attached to the existing structure if they are left intact. If demolition is chosen, any new structure would have to adhere to the currently established setbacks. Attached are 2 area maps of the property. One depicts the building's placement and one is for future building concepts. Also are 2 more sheets, one building elevation and one existing and demo floor plans. From the maps, the apartment complex on the backside of the property is not within the current established setbacks. The building on the front lot is also not within the established setbacks. With that said, any enlargements of any of the existing buildings may be enlarged or expanded in a cumulative amount of 20% of the existing structure. No enlargement or expansion may encroach any further into the setbacks than the existing structure encroaches. The cumulative total of the sum of all expansion or enlargement from the date the structure became non-conforming. I feel that this is a great idea to bring this old building into proper zoning compliance. In addition, any new structures added to the property would enhance the existing property and highway corridor. Those are my thoughts. So, with that said,
With that said, unless you guys had anything more you want to.
do we have any public comment?
Not the result, maybe the hypothetical.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else that you guys would like to include in this?
Any other final before?
On the floor area expansion, if you said floor area expansion in relation to when the building became non-conforming. So then if we demolish a portion of it, is the 20%, so if this is the entire existing footprint, is the 20% everything here, even if we remove some and build back new, or then does the 20% then go down to what is left?
So when the last meeting with Rex, when I was here, he said that it was, but that is the laundromat and the garage plus 20%. So we could demo that and build back that plus 20%.
Right.
So we could build
So
back
what you
new.
would want to do is you would want to do your demolition and your, I'm going to call it a remodel for the lack of a better description, all at the same time. So you have that whole entire building
Okay.
going
That's one
along.
option.
So you would
that's-
consider the,
So the whole
Footprint.
building, so the garage with the laundromat
Mm-hmm.
is, let's say that whole building's 1,000 square feet. Your enlargement is 20% of that.
So that
1,000
plus,
square feet.
yeah. Now the whole,
Plus-
20%
plus-
of the whole building plus the, plus the demo. So 20%, so
Right.
let's say the whole thing is, including the laundromat, the apartment, and the garage is, let's say it's, for round numbers, 10,000 feet. We could demo some and build back 12,000 feet total.
And they don't have to keep your existing, foundation?
No,
No,
you-
because then
okay.
anything new would have to be compliant.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to turn this.
But that's not saying that's what we want to do, that's just one
No,
option.
I'm
there's just a
I'm
couple
also
options out there,
questioning.
yep.
There's, yeah.
I
So,
think on that note, we would have to go back and review those minutes too.
Okay.
Yeah.
may I ask a question then real quick, if that's okay? So if they tear out the existing concrete footer, foundation, whatever it is, and they put a whole new one, they're not required to put that into compliance because they're
No.
going within their whole
They are.
existing.
They are.
We can't go back further into the setback.
Can't go
Right.
back- if
So our
further-
7 feet, we have to maintain.
Oh, so you would maintain that existing setback that's already there? You wouldn't require them to, like, if there was a setback of 10 foot and you're only 7 foot now, you wouldn't be required, if they yanked up the old concrete, you wouldn't require them to go to the current setback of 10 feet. They would be able to keep that 7 foot hypothetically,
On the
right?
remaining.
Correct.
Okay.
Hypothetically,
We could,
for that 20% enlargement.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
That's where
kind
I'm
of
with
the
you.
caveat to
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
I mean, that
Okay.
20% doesn't
that's not much.
give them much.
but, yeah, but we do get the laundromat and the garage plus the 20%.
Yes,
So
sir.
we could go,
But again, I would kind of combine that into your demolition and your remodel and or addition.
sure.
So
Yep.
you don't want to just, you don't
Yeah.
want to just demo it and then
Correct.
come back and say.
No, we're gonna have a plan.
Because then you already, you're.
We will come to you with one
established
plan,
that-
period.
yeah.
We'll have one plan when we come to you for the, you know,
Yeah.
And your main questions were basically, at some point in time, there was gonna be some sort of talk about possibly setbacks through the highway side, correct?
that's the, it was
That
on
was
the-
like a scuttlebutt, so to speak?
That was something I heard from, the
Okay.
mayor was discussing that, so.
Okay, all right.
Highway corridor, yeah.
Yeah, and how do we feel about the highway frontage corridor? Okay.
Yeah, and that's, anyway, just let us know if it changes, so.
Okay, with that said,
One item if I may, before you quit.
you, certainly,
You might check your date on your workshop. You said Monday. I
The
think
first
that's-
Monday.
I think that's.
Tuesday, they're all
Tuesday, the
Tuesdays, sorry.
Okay, so
Oh,
it'd
they're
be
Tuesdays, not the first Mondays, so that is gonna be the
March
seventh.
7th, 7 PM then,
Oh.
right? Yep.
Yeah, she said Mondays.
Little birdie, that's my wife, sent me a text.
Oh, did you?
Oh, she's watching.
Sorry, Andrea,
Hi,
sorry.
March
I
7th.
need a motion.
Yeah, we're gonna motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry, your last comment, sir?
This is it. One last comment, parting comments.
I'm all set. I was
I'm
just
kidding, I'm
said
joking.
March 7th.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, with that being said, could I have a motion to?
Oh, I
adjourn
guess I
this?
motion to adjourn the public meeting.
Do you need a recommendation first for the council, or no?
No, sir.
This
No,
is
that
next
that's
meeting.
in the next
Happens at the
meeting.
second.
Next
Okay,
meeting.
got you. All right.
I second that motion.
Aye.
Those, any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Public hearing adjourned at 7:10.
Yep.
You guys wanna wait just a couple more minutes? My lovely assistant over there. Turn your mic off.
I did.
I'm just gonna pause the audio for now. and then I'll
Okay, is
restart
that
it.
how,
I think-
is that how? And
I
then,
think I'm probably
okay, then.
good now, right? You don't need me for anything else?
Yeah, I'll stay for the rest of the meeting.
He's got big plans.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
So if you guys get to move the building up front, So are you gonna have two storefronts? Like one on the parking lot
So
side and
my
one on the
opinion,
highway
so my
side?
opinion is this, the building that's there would go away.
Right.
One brand new building for the commercial, the whole frontage.
Okay, so, but my point is you're gonna have store frontage on the highway side. Is that gonna be real store frontage?
Yes.
So windows, doors, welcome.
So that would be the visual from the road. You'd come in and park on the
Backside.
on the backside.
And then you'll have access from the backside also.
There'd be no road access from the highway side, just the backside. So there'd be backside.
Public entrance.
Yeah.
Man doors.
Yeah, that's exactly right, yeah.
On the backside and the front.
Well, that's in our, we're gonna draw that up in plan,
We need a public way on
both sides.
the front and the back for parking and exits, yes.
You're gonna want signage. You're gonna be allowed signage.
Mainly on the highway side, the signage.
Lining your front, right, but you're gonna wanna advertise on each highway side. Plus, you're gonna wanna advertise on the backside
Yeah.
over that man door.
I guess we get X amount of square feet per lineal foot of frontage, right?
Right,
So it's-
so now,
Yeah.
so you may consider having that
No, we're
changed
not like
also
really on the record yet.
when you're
So we're
reading
gonna be
the
Okay, that's what I'm gonna ask. So
setback laws.
they need
Yeah,
to
good
change
point.
MRC because
Because
they
you're
have
gonna
apartment
wanna double
complexes
up.
on there and they're not supposed to have
Personally,
apartments with,
yeah.
commercial.
You're gonna want two
And
front,
any commercial.
two frontages, one on the highway front,
Okay,
even though
that's
you don't park there. And
Okay.
you're gonna want one on the back,
Right.
because that's where everybody's parking and wanting to go.
Right.
And then you're gonna want signage over that door to say this is the right door.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna want signage on the highway side that says, hey, here we are.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have that
Signage
discussion.
is
So maybe the signage should be a discussion too.
Another never-ending discussion, right?
Alright.
Yes, you're right,
It's
yeah.
always gonna be something.
I don't know how to handle it now.
Thanks, guys. I'm gonna take
You're up.
Nice seeing you, Dave. Take care.
Thank you,
Nice meeting you, man. Take care.
You staying for the public hearing?
No,
Oh, are you gonna stay for the meeting?
and ruin somebody's afternoon.
All right.
Alright, thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Dave, see ya.
Do you have a free bowl lunch?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll leave it later. No, no.
okay. Are you ready to, I think you're still recording.
Well,
I don't know.
he's got the whole
He's
system.
got
Oh,
it
he's got it all paused.
I don't know about
Okay.
everything. He said the audio he has paused. So I don't know if the video's paused, so everybody else.
Yeah, the video.
going, but the audio's.
Yeah, see, so they can
Wave to
make
your
up.
friends at home.
Hey. Oh, big Mo.
They're all,
Oh,
when is he
big.
gonna start?
Okay,
Everybody just start acting out.
okay, so you have,
Slam your hand on the table.
Someone out there could probably read lips.
Probably.
did you sign the pink one too?
Oh,
Did you sign both of them?
No,
I just signed one.
Fred, you gotta listen to the instructions.
There we
I did
go.
not hear those instructions, Fred, so you're good.
No, well,
Oh,
she's all nervous.
not now. I'm moving on, maybe.
Is that the public hearing one? You have to sign the pink one. The pink one's-
I'm on it, boss. I got you.
The pink one's for
You have to
Valentine's.
sign the
I
pink
was
one.
going to go this weekend, but my wife canceled.
That, not the family.
Okay, so basically,
I might
what
go
we're
to
gonna do is we're just gonna do a recap of the rezone
Do not go.
application, and then you're gonna make,
But we
you're gonna
don't,
make your recommendation.
right, but, I mean, but we don't quite know how to do the recommendation yet, because we don't know about when, what kind of,
We
You
can only
can't-
base
you
our
can't-
recommendation
You can
on
only
current.
base it on what you, information you have available.
so we're gonna recommend to the town council that, that they are good for MRC for now, but what about addressing the, at a future reference for commercial like they
I
requested?
don't think you can do that.
We can, oh, well, no,
It's
but,
all hypothetical.
Is this
Okay.
part of the meeting?
no,
No, no, no,
no.
no, no.
No,
One
you-
quick
No,
sec.
I'm asking
One
questions.
quick sec, because it might not change, and it might change only for highway corridor businesses.
Okay.
It might, you know,
And then we have to, and then would we have to create a definition of what a highway corridor business
Of
is?
course we would.
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
So it
That's
sounds like
also
that's
good.
something we continue with this process.
was-
However, during a council meeting, three
continue with
readings,
that process.
yep, we can
Table
address it.
meeting,
Yeah.
three readings, and it's a, I'm not being
No, you're not being recorded yet.
It's been a private discussion,
Right.
so.
So there's
a
nothing
lot-
on record
there's a lot
in the
of
book,
people
yeah.
that have to weigh in
Yeah.
on that.
Correct.
You gave us information we didn't even know.
Got it,
Yeah,
yeah.
these guys didn't even know that. I knew about it only because I found out.
News travels
yesterday.
fast around here.
Holy smokes. You're blue,
So,
right there.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna make a
Sorry.
recommendation that we, say send this to the town council for
If
MRC,
you,
change it to MRC?
if you look in your, that folder. Wow. Here is. Oh, that's. Okie dokie, let's see. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of February 14th, 2023, called to order at
7:17.
7:17. I shall establish roll call. Floyd Jenkins
Here.
and Mo Wilson.
It's here.
Okay,
Here.
Rex Dormouse is absent and excused from tonight's meeting, so quorum has been established.
All righty. First of all, I guess we'd like to congratulate Mo Wilson on being our newest member, our first official meeting. Congratulations.
Thank you, I think. You say that now, but you might change your mind later.
Whatever. Tonight's appointments and new business. Looking at the Creative Properties LLC, rezone, REZ, sorry, 01-23.
You can ask him to give a brief.
If we could get you to give a little brief description of the rezone.
Certainly. Brett Bennett, Alpine Architectural Studio. The rezone application includes proposed zoning map amendment from existing commercial zoning to MRC zoning. The initial reason for this is to handle the non-conforming use of the existing apartment buildings constructed prior to the current LUDC code, the town of Alpine. We feel that this brings the property as it stands today into conformance, and any future permits would be submitted separately.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's going to clean things up tremendously. I think it's a great idea. I don't know how much other discussion we need to have on it from our preliminary hearing.
I should say that it's been noted that a public hearing was held prior to this meeting. There was no public input and/or comments that were presented to the commission members.
Okay. I always like to have a little Dan input too. I don't know if there was anything that you would like to add to this as well?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that made it easy. I guess we'll probably have to move forward with the,
You, well,
this is our whole recommendation.
do you want me to make a recommendation? Is it my turn? But do I have to wait for him to ask me to do that, or do I just do it?
Probably have to.
Okay, okay. Woman's got to learn her place.
I guess without any further discussion or input, I guess we could move forward with a motion.
We would like to make a motion to send this to the town council for the recommendation for the rezoning to MRC for 160 US Highway 89, with the ability at some point in time, if any of our lines change or any of our highway frontage lines change of any sorts, then they can address that at a future date to maybe adjust what their plans are with their property.
And I
Is that
second
good?
that motion.
Okay, it was kind of convoluted motion, I apologize.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I would agree with you, what you said. All I would add is that, we're, just requesting support to retain a portion of the lot as commercial if needed. But that's a discussion item with the council as this goes through the process. And, our understanding that we would have to go through the process again. So the request is for your support in that.
Yep.
However, I understand you can't make any commitments right now.
Right. And I appreciate that, and it's entered into the minutes,
Okay.
and we can move forward with that. Those in agreement?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries to move forward with REZ-01-23 to town council.
Oh, there's the number you keep talking about. Fancy.
Thank you, Brett.
Okay,
So
well,
the
thank
planning
you.
and zoning will follow up with a letter to the applicant, and then it will move through the cycle to the town council.
Understood. Okay.
That'll be next week.
All right, well, appreciate all your hard work with the application.
Thank
And
you for
we will-
your hard work. and
We'll see you
input.
soon.
All righty, I guess we can move on with, you got something else I need?
No.
Okay. Move forward with tabled items. There are none. We can move forward to discussion and/or correspondence items. Planning and zoning discussion items.
Thanks, Brett.
We-
So, Mr. Chairman,
You're
thanks, Brett. There, I think it's up to you guys, in light of the public hearing and the meeting. I have put together some paperwork for a reallocation of handicap parking spaces for the property located at 189 US Highway 89. I have not been able to totally ascertain where the correct handicap parking spaces are. So if this is an item that you would like to, perhaps, a discussion
think we
to
could,
table to the next meeting,
May I-
I'll have more information available for you.
What is that property? I apologize. The
It's
189?
a commercial building over, right here off of the highway.
Oh, the old medical?
Where the athletic club is.
Oh. Huh,
Okay,
yeah.
and we don't need any motion on that. We can just
No.
kind of move on to the next
Just move
point.
to the next one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Citizen comments and/or concerns.
Mr. Burchard?
Any comments?
Thank you. Comments and concerns from the commissioners.
Yeah.
We had nothing that came down the pipe. Okay,
Um,
we'll move on. Oh,
Oh, no, please be patient with me. I'm gonna ask probably a lot of silly
no,
questions to
no.
try to get things figured
there's
out, so.
never silly questions.
Oh, there's plenty. You say that now, you'll change your mind later, right, Dave?
And then we move on down to planning and zoning correspondence, comments and concerns from commissioners. Same thing's kind of covered, nothing from them.
Nothing. I don't have-
Nothing.
I don't have anything for you.
And then I guess we're looking at the town council assignment for February 21st, 2023. There's one person that's not here, and we always have the option of.
No, you can't,
What do
after what we just
Dave,
went
what do we
through,
call it, voluntold?
you can't give no, we can't do that to, that's not very nice. Are you gonna be here? Cause of course, I'll go to the meeting, but
And you wanna not do one.
I can if you want me to, absolutely. I always go to the meetings anyway, but
You.
yeah, if you need me to, I can.
I'm looking for volunteers.
Okay then, I guess.
Okay, I think that Mo would
You
like
know,
to.
we may as well just jump all the way in.
Okay.
Yep, I'm jumping all the way in,
Okay,
baby.
I think we got
Both
that
feet.
covered.
Perfect.
I would like to have a motion
Well, that,
for number 7.
what? That's it? Okay, I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Well, why
Meeting
did Dan
adjourned.
have to be here?
Meeting adjourned.
I feel like we just
at
left you off to the side.
7:26.
7:26.
I feel bad.
Did we make 15
Yeah.
minutes? Did we do it?
No.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
I told you guys.
Great job, Dave.